for our exam preparation. Everyone, welcome to our exam prep live classroom. This is for our final exam. Let me move this beautiful stuff out of the way and close a couple of these. Okay, final exam prep. So, I don't know if any of you guys have had a chance to look at these. I posted them in the announcement yesterday. I kind of wanted to just go through these. I gave you the key to these so you can see the answer. But notice this is from like the very first week. I'm pretty sure we covered electrical circuits in the first week. So if that's not an indication, just know that this is a comprehensive exam. Okay. Luckily with programming, most of the stuff, from week 3, you use every week in your programs anyways. But the stuff from week 1 and 2, you might have to review because it's been a while since we've looked at power supplies and electrical circuits. Okay. Just so you know. Basic stuff. What are the 2 tags that should appear in the head of every document? Okay. You guys need to remember that kind of stuff. That was back in chapter 3, I think, when it said what the required elements of HTML5 are. But what do you guys think? Well, I guess, yeah, what do you guys think? The 2 tags that should appear in the head of every document.
Doc type and the meta tag on the head.
Okay. Anyone else? What do you guys think? Does that sound right?
The meta tag and the title tag.
Okay. Any other comments on this? What do you guys think?
Well, the clue says meta and title, but I was wondering about the doc type.
Well, let's look at a program. Where's doc type? And what is this question asking?
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So
Hey, it's a valid thing. Okay, what are the 2 tags that should appear in the head, this guy, of every HTML document? Okay, if I look in here, we have a meta tag and a title tag. Okay, so just check out your programs and read your questions carefully. Okay, again, same as previous exams, you can bring all your programs with you. I say it like you're going somewhere. You can use all your programs, so use them. Okay, if you want to like save files from back in week 3 or 4 to like make sure you have all the required ones, just make sure to save those and you can use those as well. So, and you can use your book as well. So you can just look at there. Okay, any questions on this? All right, since I skipped these 2, let's just look at them real quick. Within an electrical circuit, what does a diode do? What do you guys think?
Allows electricity to flow in one direction.
Perfect. What does a power supply in a computer do?
Converts AC to DC.
Yep, perfect. All right, write the HTML tag and its attributes for creating a div, which can be used for output from JavaScript. Okay, so this is pretty vague. I'm not sure if you'll have anything this vague. It'll usually say, referencing a specific ID or something like that. But basically what it's looking for is this right here. Okay, write the HTML tag. Oh, whoops, no, that's not. Sorry, ignore me. HTML tag, it's not JavaScript. Let's read the question carefully. And its attributes for creating a div, which can be used for output from JavaScript. Okay, so all that would look like, we would need a div, obviously. And to get it to be referenced from the JavaScript, we'd have to specify an ID. Okay. Questions on this one? All right. What does parse int do?
Changes input into a whole number.
Perfect. Takes a string and converts it to a whole number. What's the difference between that and parse float?
Parse float can do decimals.
Perfect. How do you know which one you should use?
Based on if you want to include numbers that are whole numbers, or you want to include numbers that are decimals.
That might sound super simple, but yes, Christy, you're right. Notice that when we were sorting that array, I said parse float because I'm like, if I use parse float, they'll be able to enter decimals if they have to. You know, if I'm dealing with indices and array, I will never have to parse a float for that. You know, if I'm only trying to reference an index or something, because it's always going to be a whole number. Very good. Given the following JavaScript code, what, if anything, will the computer output for the user to see? Let's take a sec to look at this.
Terrible.
Someone thinks terrible. What? Anyone else think anything else? Anyone else think anything else? Let's walk through it. X equals 3, y equals 7. If x is greater than y, false. X is not greater than y. So we skip all of this. Else, alert table. Terrible. Okay, I agree with that. Again, if I copied this, let's put it in our text editor, see what it gets. That looks like pretty usable code other than these ugly characters. Okay, but if I copied this, hey, excuse me one second. I could put this in the developer tools and actually run this and see the exact thing that the exact thing that it would output. So let's hit F12 here. Go to our console, let's clear it, and I paste that and run it. You can see it alerts terrible. Okay, completely legal. You guys can use your developer tools on your exam. So please do check your work. It's great to walk through it, but be sure to check your work as well, anywhere you can. Any questions on this one? Okay. Number 7, given the following JavaScript code, what will the value of result be? Okay. So again, I would encourage you to walk through it, work through it mathematically, and then run it and see what you get. Thanks. Okay. If I paste this in here, let's see it's probably these minus symbols. Sometimes these minus ones don't carry over right. So let's just change that to a minus. What you would see, and then you can just type in result. What you would see if this was actually in a program and I pasted this inside of a program, inside the script tag where the text editor is looking for JavaScript, you would see that symbol would have been a different color. If I come back here, change that, copy it, and paste it right here. See how that's like white? Because it didn't recognize it as a mathematical character. So, all right. And any questions on this one? This one deals with like order of operations and stuff like that. Any questions? What will get hit first? What will be the first thing that will be computed here?
Multiplication.
Okay. Anyone think anything else?
Is it the mod?
Well, let's think. So if A is 7, B is 3, and C is 11, okay, you know, we could actually run this too. So if I did save this in here, let me just put this in my function, okay, and we can just comment out all this because we don't care about it. Okay, and we can open up that same program that we had. Oh, I closed it.
Don't forget to fix your minus sign back.
Thank you. Okay, paste that in here. Open up our developer tools. Let's put a breakpoint in and run it. Okay. Whoops, I skipped over it. Sorry, guys. Okay. All right, so right here, if it is multiplication first, okay, and again, you can debug this stuff on your exam, so you can do this exact same thing. If it is multiplication first, this would end up being 33, because C is 11 and B is 3. This right here, A times C, would be 77, 7 times 11. And then we would take 77 mod 2, which would be 1, because mod 2 would take 2 times whatever to get 76, and there'd be 1 left over. Okay, so we'd end up with b times c, what was that again, 33. So 33 minus 1 would be 32, and then adding a would be 37. And if I highlight over this entire thing to see what we get at the end, 39. Okay, so if I did the modulus first, and c mod 2, we still get 1. And we'd have a times c, which would give us 1. And then b times c would give us 33. And then plus 7. And that whole thing gives 39. Okay, so you can walk through it and see exactly what you get. But yeah, any questions on that?
So it's the multiplication first. Just
Yep.
to make
Yep. Okay. All right. Given the following JavaScript code, how many times will the computer display the word ice? Okay, var I equals 7. Do, so this will always get executed at least once. It'll alert ice, and then it'll increment I, while I is less than or equal to 14. Okay, so I'd be at 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 8 times. Okay, and again, you could write this out and run it and count how many times it alerts it, or something like that. Any questions on this one? Okay, what does the JavaScript keyword break do? What do you guys think?
Does it end a loop or get out of a loop?
Yes, that's exactly what it does. It is oftentimes to help performance. You know, if I'm going to loop through something 100 times, if I know exactly what I'm looking for, if I'm looking for like something in an array or something, instead of looping through the entire array, as soon as I find that something that I'm looking for, I could just break and get out of there. And yeah, so that's exactly what break does. Given the following function definition and the following call, what value will be displayed to the user? Okay, so we're going to pass in, let's see, we're calling it right here with 8, 2, and 13. So it'd be 8, 2, and 13. And then return 8 times 3, which would be 24, plus 2, 26, minus whatever this was, minus 13. Okay. And so you can run through that, and you could also write this out in your console as well and run it, or run it in a program and see what's happening.
Is this one a trick question? Because there's no output div, so nothing would be displayed to the user?
There's an alert right here.
Oh, okay, I got it. Thank
That was really close though. For a second, I'm like, wow, she's right. But no, there's an alert right here.
Thanks.
But good, watch out for stuff like that because it might be there. All right. Or it's also possible to have to say like infinite times. Like if it's like, how many times will this be alerted to the user or something like that? It's possible there's like an infinite loop. And so don't dismiss answers of infinite or 0 with this stuff. Given the following declaration, var list, we have a nice little array here. What is the value of list at the index of this? Interesting. Okay, so list at the index of 4, what is that value?
7.
7, perfect, yep. And then list dot length divided by 2. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is 3. Divided by 2 would be 1.5, and there isn't an index of 1.5. Okay, so what do you guys think that one would be?
Well, isn't it the list length divided by 2? So it's 6 divided by 2, which so it'd be 9.
Yes, thank you. Yep. If it hadn't been that, I'm pretty sure this would have been not a number because there wouldn't have been anything here that would have been not a number. Adding that wouldn't have mattered. But yes, as it stands, we have list.length, which is 6 divided by 2, which is 3. So we'd get this guy plus this guy, which would give us 16. Okay. All right, desk check the following code. All right, you will have some desk checks to do on your exam. And with these, I fully encourage you to write this out in your text editor and debug it. Okay, let's practice that one time real quick. So I'm going to take this out and put it in here. Make sure I don't have any funky symbols like invalid minus signs or weird characters, which I don't think I do. All right, and I'm going to open up my program, refresh it, put a breakpoint right there, and hit my button. Okay, and it's wanting me to desk check this. So I'd say, okay, J is 7, sum is 0, sum SQ is 0, J is still 7. Okay, sum is now 1, sum SQ wasn't changed, it's still 0. And then I would just step through this, okay? So J is now 8, sum is now 3, and I'm hitting F10. I put a breakpoint right here, and I'm hitting F10 and hovering over these to see what they hold at the current point of execution. Okay, and I'll just keep on hitting F10 until it's done for a desk check. Okay, any questions on this? On the process, on the debugging? Okay, all right. Write a JavaScript function named reverse list that takes one parameter named the list. The function should return a list with the elements in the opposite order of the list. For example, if the function were invoked as follows, then reversed would have the value of this. Okay. Was it Lena who brought up the reverse function earlier today? That would be perfect in this case. Okay. And if we wanted to do that real quick, I need a function called reverse list. So I'm just going to change these to reverse list. And for my purposes right now, wow, that's a typo right there. I would put this in here with that just to test this. And then in my function called reverse list, let's see, one parameter named the list, paste that right there. And then I could remove all that and just say return the list dot reverse. Okay, because it says function should return a list with the elements in the opposite order of the list. Okay, so if I ran this, the way that it's written, it'll be kind of hard to see what the output will be. So I'm just going to put a breakpoint right there because all I'm doing is returning it. It won't output it to the page. But if I look at the list after the reverse went, you can see it did indeed reverse the direction of this array, or the order of the array, I should say. All right. But to get full points in that question, all you need is this. You'd have to have the same function header that it wanted you to have, and then return the proper value. Doesn't matter how many lines of code you did it in. Doesn't matter if you declared a new variable for it or not. It just has to return the right value. Okay. Any questions on this one? Okay. Write a JavaScript function called overachievers, which takes one parameter, a list named numbers, and returns the count of how many elements of the list are greater than the first element of the list using the following header. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this header and paste it right here. I want to actually call this function when I'm testing it. It takes one parameter, a list named numbers. So I can just leave this list right here. And then the list is called numbers. So I have the proper function header right here. And returns the count. So we're returning an integer here of how many elements of the list are greater than the first element of the list. Okay, just for kicks, I'm going to add 0 and -1 here. So we have some room to play around with our testing. Okay, all right. So how can we do this? What do you guys think? We need to count how many of these numbers are greater than this one, the very first one. What do you guys think? Earlier we saved elements in arrays that we would use multiple times into a variable, we could do that and say var regular achiever equals numbers at the first index. Okay. And then how are we going to check to see if it's greater than or lesser than each one of the elements in the array?
We need to do a loop.
So let's do a loop. For I is equal to 0, while I is less than numbers.length, I plus plus. If numbers at the index of I, let's see what we're looking for here, returns the count of how many elements of the list are greater than the first. So I'm going to declare count right now. Our count equals 0. If the element that we're looping through at the moment, if numbers at the index of I is greater than regular achiever, then count plus plus. Return count. Okay. So every time this is greater than our regular achiever, then we'll increase count, and then we'll just return that integer. We didn't have to declare this right here. We could have just done this. Either one's fine. They do the same thing. Okay, but let's run it, make sure that this works. I'm going to take that breakpoint off. We can leave that one. We'll hit our button, have our numbers here. Okay, let's just think through this. How many of these, what do we want this to output? How many of these are greater than 1? 1, 2, 3, 4. You guys agree? Okay. So if I step in here, I can see I is currently 0, which is 1, which it'll never be greater than this one because that's the same thing. Okay, and we just keep on going. It'll check each index or each element in the array with whatever the index is. Okay, so that's 2. That is indeed greater than 1. So I know we're going to come into our count here and increase it. And I'm going to put a breakpoint right here. See, count is 4 at the end of it. Okay. Any questions on this one? Okay. All right. Write a JavaScript function called gravitational pull, which will calculate and return the gravitational attraction between two objects. Okay, real quick. Notice what it's asking. You don't have to do an entire program. And we didn't have to do an entire program with the last one either. Notice that this, I don't really care that these inputs are here, but I used this as a means to save my code, debug it, and to test this function. Okay, and I could put any numbers in here that I want, and it's fine. But the only thing that the question is asking for is this function right here. Okay, now regardless, if you submit the entire HTML that you did, or just the function, if it works, and I'll give you 100%. Okay, but just make that distinction. So this question right here, it says write a function. So it wants you to submit the gravitational pull function. But to test that, I would put it into like my template program, or this that we're using right here, just a place to run it, to test it. I can see if errors come up in the console. I can see if it's not working right. I can debug it. So yeah, side note. Okay, we'll calculate and return the gravitational attraction between two objects with the following header. I'm going to copy this and put it in here. And I'm going to take out this array because I'm pretty sure this isn't going to take an array. So we're going to need M1, M2, and S. The equation used is this guy right here, where F is the gravitational attraction in newtons. M1 and M2 are the masses of the two objects. S is the distance between the two objects. G is the gravitational constant. Okay, just so you guys know, I have no idea what this is. I've never had to worry about gravitational pull in my entire life, other than the fact that I weigh something, With that said, this function isn't anything that I have to worry about. And so that's all we're going to worry about. And hopefully we'll use numbers that make sense. Okay, so weight of two objects, or the masses of two objects in kilograms. Okay, so it is weight. And S is the distance in meters. So I'll just say 100 kilograms, 50 kilograms, and 15 meters apart. Okay, we'll call this M1, M2, and S, and then we get to do this equation right here. Okay, so let's see. Let's go ahead, let's split this out a little bit. Looks like the top part is just some simple multiplication. So let's say var top equals, and I say var top because I have no idea like what the gravitational constant is, and so I don't know what else I would name this other than just top. So we'll take M1 times M2 times of our gravitational constant. Is this little subscript here, is that like an exponent or something? It's probably that E thing. So let's copy this. And let's paste it right here. And just in case, I'm going to put this into parentheses. Okay. You know what? Let's actually save this in its own variable first. So I'll say looks like it's G for our gravitational constant. And now I'll use that. We have 6.6748408, and then times this, and that is using E. And you guys won't have anything this convoluted on your exam. Let's see, E minus 11, and hopefully that'll work for us. And then we'll multiply that. We have our top, and then our bottom equals, that looks just like S squared to me. And then we'll return top divided by bottom. Okay. Does that look okay to you guys? Let's try running it. All right. Well, we didn't get an error with our funky E minus thing in our number there. Refresh this and run it. So we have M1, M2, and S. G, that is a valid JavaScript number. That's perfect. Okay. We have our top, which is that, and our bottom, and then top divided by bottom. Oh, totally missed the punchline. Sorry, guys. We're not outputting anywhere. And that gets this value right there. Okay. And something like this, you know, like I would have a hard time validating my answer. I would have to Google like a gravitational pull calculator just to check, and you can't Google on your exam, which, fortunate for you, there isn't anything like this on the exam where you have to deal with like constants and stuff like this. So, and in real life, if you had a client who was like, I need to figure out like the gravitational pull for this because I'm like doing like a Weight Watcher scale Bluetooth app or something like that, then you could just Google a gravitational pull calculator and make sure that your answer is right. Okay. So, any questions on this? Alrighty. Let's see if there's anything else in here. That is it. Okay. So you will have programs to write. You will have desk checks. You will have lots of other questions. The exam will be parts A and B, like you guys are used to. Open book, open notes, open programs, open developer tools. W through schools is free game. So yeah, just so you know. The only thing that you can't do is talk to people and Google stuff. So, any questions?
So the part B will be writing full codes, right? Or just little ones like we did here?
I'm pretty sure you'll have full programs to write.
Okay.
But they give you like the template. They give you like the HTML for the program.
Okay.
So
When does that open, that final test?
Monday,
Still the
I
same.
believe.
Okay.
You'll have Monday and Tuesday. So, all right. Well, any other questions? Anything you guys want to practice, go through? Anything? Okay. Well, you guys are amazing. Bearing with me yammering for like 2 hours. That's pretty impressive. So, it's been an absolute pleasure, and just let me know if I can help you guys with anything this week.
Thanks.
Okay. Thank you guys. Have a great day.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.